So I thought I would post a little video about art journaling. Every year I have usually about 2 journals for the year that I just add to every day. And both of mine this year are leather. This is one of them. It's a big 8 by 10. And I'm working today on a page layout that includes my grandfather's checks and his a page from his ledger from 1944, and a check stub where he wrote to my grandma $40 for groceries, and just a couple of stubs with his signatures. And I'm going to add to that page and show you that. Okay, also in the journal I'll have some layouts for calendar type stuff. And I'll have just some doodles and artwork. Thoughts, poems, verses, what I'm listening to, who I spoke with, what's going on, my events for the day. Nice sayings that I come across that I want to save. And my sleep record, my sleep log. I keep track of that because sometimes I have difficulty sleeping and I need to keep track of that to see if my medicine is affecting that. So back to today's layout, which is my grandfather's accounting. I went ahead and adhered it with this 2-sided tape adhesive I got from Tombow. And sometimes I use Mod Podge to adhere things. And then I use some gesso paint on some blobs. And I also used some stucco. I just put the stucco here and there to make some texture on the page, and when I go to paint over it, it'll be kind of bumpy and cool. Now, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this page, but I'm just going to start playing. When I applied the gesso, you can see I put some on the brown paper too, here and there. And now I dug out my watercolors. I think I'm going to do watercolors and then maybe some pastels. So I'm just spreading it around wherever, however. I picked red and blue. There's some red in the there's some red in this Busby Hardware ticket I found laying around, and I pasted it in the book too. So I got a little bit of my accounting and bookkeeping work and a little bit of my grandfather's. And now I'm just filling up the page with some color. I think I'll throw in some purple. I love purple. Now I'm just letting it dry, and then we'll do another layer. And I put this page in with some little prongs so I can open it. And I think I'll do some journaling in there. But I wanted you to be able to see the back of the page. For 1945 is on the back and 44 is on the front. So I did not want to glue that down. So I use these little brads. Now I'm taking my pastels and going to highlight some of the color on the bumpy texture from the stucco. So I'm just going to kind of add that here and there on the stucco. I like it on the page edge too. That's kind of cool. Now I'm just rubbing it in with my finger to kind of blend it all together. Now I want to highlight my grandpa's year, 1944. So I'm just going to circle it with a red marker. And my year, well, actually, this is before my time too, 1971 at Busby Hardware. I worked here for 20 years, but it was after 71. It was in the 90s. Now I came in with some black pastel just to provide some contrast. And I'm mixing it in with my finger. And I put some up here. And some over here. So the last of my color is the yellow, which I just applied here and there to brighten up the page. And now I'm going to take my stamp pad and run it along the edge of this paper, which I really can't do one-handed. And that will give it a nice little antique look. So you can see here where I rubbed my sepia stamp pad on the paper a little bit to make it look even older. Like 1944 isn't old enough, right? So, anyway. I'm done now, and I'm just going to add some words and some lyrics from a song, I think. So I added the lyrics to Grandpa, the song by the Judds. And the only part that got tricky was when I tried to write over where I had the stucco. That didn't go quite like I planned, but it's okay. And now I'm going to write some personal journaling under this flap. Just some memories I have of my grandpa. And there you have it. It's in my 2020 journal.